The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. What's going on, good people? Y'all know what time it is. It's time for us to come through here and talk some sports with y'all on this show that we call the Sportsguru Sports Perspective. Of course, I am your favorite co-host, E-Buck. And of course, the man on that side, about to switch to this side, is the man with the master plan, the dude that runs the ship here, the man with the major opinion in regards to the sports talk. We're going to defer to him on all. This is the one and only Hugh Lee. What's going on, Hugh?
What's up, B man? How everything going, brother?
Hey, it's another day in the life. Glad that I'm here to talk about it.
I can see you got that fall in your eyes, man. It's definitely been feeling like real gloomy lately, man. It hasn't felt that way, like as far as the weather, but man, it's been cloudy back-to-back days, man, and it looks like it's like almost dark outside, man. That's been kind of getting to me, but I knew the fall was gonna be here soon, man, and I just gotta embrace it, man. It's that time of year, so I'm about to snug up, relax, watch me some of that October baseball, get into this NFL and get into the college season. That's what it's all about right now, man. That's why, I hope you got some comforters or blankets around the house so you can chill and watch some of this good entertainment going on. And speaking of, man, I can't leave the ladies out as well, man. Definitely looking at that right now. And I want to know how you feel about what's going to happen with the rematch from the championship, man. And I'm starting to feel you now, E. I do not like the way WNBA set up their brackets, man. They got to get that together. We should have seen that at least in the championship round if they both made it. I'm not feeling they play each other in the semifinals this year.
Man, it is what it is. Keep in mind, these are temporary things. The WNBA about to step up to the next couple levels. When you think about the teams that they added, congratulations to the Portland franchise that's about to have a team. And of course, they got Toronto and Golden State on deck. You got the WNBA draft coming through. No doubt that my favorite college player right now, the one and only Paige Beckers, will be the number one draft pick.
So Sparks.
That would be very interesting. Be even more interesting if the other team that's in that lottery, that team called the Chicago Sky, end up getting that pick. Wouldn't that be a matchup, her, Kennedy Carter, and Angel Reese?
That's all they really need is like somebody because I feel like Kennedy Carter more like a shooting guard because she shoots the blood out of it. But that time when her and Gumwale played each other in college, man, that was one of the best games, man. If people ain't see that, y'all need to go back and check that game out. But yeah, that'd be a good fit too, E, man. I do like the LA and the glitz and glam, but she could get down and gritty with Chicago, man. And they just basically need like a pure point guard over there too, man. But hey, either way it go, man, I wouldn't lose no sleep because it's definitely going to be an interesting year in college, man. And I even with the girls right now, I've been tripping. I already been looking at who going to go to the WNBA, and I've been looking at some of those people. How would you feel if AZ Fudd, I'm going to give you that bracket too that I got. If I didn't send it already, they have her going to the to DC, man.
I mean, bottom line is we ain't going to count our eggs before they hatch. I just want them girls to have a great final season over there at UConn. They definitely, spoiler alert, they're definitely my pick to win it all this year. I mean, think about it. They almost went to the championship game last year with all the injuries that they had last year. So with a fully staffed and everybody doing real good over there, feeling healthy and fine right now, they're going to be something to deal with.
Yeah, then you got SEC, I said SEC, USC, who bulked up, man. And then not only USC, Now you have girls defending their title, South Carolina. It's going to be a lot of people.
Right. And like I said, don't give out USC, UCLA. You
Yeah.
got Notre Dame getting their healthy people back. They're going to be a good squad to watch. Don't forget about Maryland. Maryland going to be a good squad. I mean, not only is women, but finally, I think the men will be back on par this year. Remember, Connecticut is definitely going to be a squad to watch. Duke should be Duke once again. When you look at the number one recruit, that dude Cooper Flagg, can't wait to see what he gonna do on the college level. I mean, I'm just looking forward to the fall sports in general right now. We getting the full effect. So the weather aside, I'm ready.
All right. I want to head into man, if you want, we could skip that Thursday game, man. Honestly, I appreciate it. Actually, man, I would like to talk more or less about a few games in college first, man. I want to talk about the good victory with the Michigan Wolverines, man. I called it, and I was surprised that it kind of went similar to what I said, but not like, well, I said I thought I had them by 4. And it was definitely about the same, but I just felt like, no disrespect to USC, they have a decent team, but the defense is still not where it needs to be. It improved, I would admit that, but it's not where it needs to be right now. But I thought that was just a really good Michigan football game. Them running the ball and playing like we normally used to playing. Hopefully they get the quarterback and, check someone who can throw the ball down the field to the receivers. But as far as our run game, man, we actually looked pretty good, and the defense held up for the most part. So, yeah, that was a game I was actually proud of.
I can't agree with that. As a Michigan fan since the 80s, I got to admit, it's hard to watch my team go through its struggles, but you had to know, when you graduate that many people to the NFL, you should not expect the same type of results. I did not. That being said, I'm looking at how this team is being coached as opposed to the hardball teams. It's a different brand of Michigan football, and it's going to be a transition period for people like myself that's used to seeing it be a certain way. I'm sure you understand how I feel about that, seeing that you looking at that perspective from Alabama as well.
I want to interject on that, E. You got to realize that Harbaugh left. He knew what was going to go down as far as the penalties. We knew that.
I'm not even talking about, the death penalty. I'm talking about the players in general.
I wasn't finished, E.
Oh, go ahead.
He took everybody with him, too. With that turnaround like that, when you have that many people missing, man, you're not going to be as good. You had to tell me that, and I'm still feeling it right now. I still don't feel like Alabama where I usually used to see them be. But then when you got the NIL and all this other stuff, you're not going to always have the same team, and they're not always going to be that team like the team of last year. It's a whole different team. So, I put it in the perspective is nobody had Michigan winning. Nobody, probably a couple people, but a lot of people all had picked USC because they thought they was going to go in there and run through them like Texas. They needed that win, but I just don't feel like right now they're in the case of going to like a heavy playoff run. Hell, I don't even really see Alabama being in a deep playoff run right now. I just think that they still got some things that they got to figure out, and they got to get their team a little bit more better or like improve. Because like with Texas, like a lot of those guys left, but then they got a lot of people to fill those holes, man. We win this NIL era now where, man, some teams going to be superior versus other teams, man. And even with those guys who are left there from that college in Texas, they still had a really good recruiting class. I don't feel like the recruiting class in Michigan was good as I thought it'd be, but I still feel like right now for what they have after all they lost, man, it's going to take time. And I still feel like that's the case with the NIL deals and everything going on. It ain't going to be the same. It's a different ball game now.
Bottom line is, with this world of NIL and transfer portal, you get freshmen, you got to start playing freshmen, okay? It boils down to simply that. As a freshman at this point, if you feel like you go into a squad and you practicing with them every day and you see you better than the people they putting out on the field, at this point, why stay? I mean, unless, of course, you actually there at the school for the education that is the University of Michigan, one of the best schools in the country for example, or Ohio State or somewhere like that. If you're just trying to play, at that point, okay, I came to the big school, they ain't let me play, I'm up out of here. Who got the money?
What's funny to me too is a lot of people been looking and they were saying, "Oh man, Notre Dame back, man." Okay, they played Miami of Ohio. I was telling people who huge Notre Dame fans they need to slow it down. 28-3, we expect that from you coming from a non-conference, non-ranked team. The surprise of this weekend happened though to me was when and I can't even say that Buffalo game. I'm gonna go to Vanderbilt versus Missouri because I definitely felt like that was a game that Missouri almost lost, but it was just they lost well, the kicker lost it for them for Vanderbilt, but for the most part, Vanderbilt got with them in that game, and that stuff I like to see. I like to see more competitive games go on, even with the unranked teams, because it's so many games that I normally see like Georgia and SEC play where they're not playing nobody. I'm surprised they actually had a game so early with them in Alabama right now, Georgia. But yeah, it was good to see at least with the Vanderbilt and Missouri game that they hung and they had a possibility to win at the end.
You got to understand, SEC is built different now. You know, back in the day, even in the SEC, it was a couple teams where you felt like, okay, when we play them, that's a win, and we can keep it moving. Even Vanderbilt ain't no punk now in this version of the SEC. So, you know, they actually been playing pretty good this year. I'm surprised it got as close as it did, but I'm not surprised that Vanderbilt showed up a little bit. That being said, Missouri definitely a team in the SEC that you might want to watch out for. They is kind of a wild card in this thing.
Yeah, I've been looking at them since last year and how good they played. They kind of fell off at the end of the year, but yeah, that was a team I kept my eye on, and I feel like that's why they rank so high. Oklahoma is who I thought they were from the beginning of the season, and I seen that Tennessee-Oklahoma game 25-15. It was just like a stagnant game. Oklahoma never really got a chance to even really get in the game, neither. But I still feel like right now, that's a team right now that I don't really still trust in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma will not get to any great levels until they figure out that sometimes when you play football, you need to play some defense too. They have been a terrible defensive team for years. It's just their offense with all the Heisman Trophy winners are all not, more times than not, they just outscored everybody. Any team they play where they got to score to beat them because that D ain't D is it for them. And they're going to have a much harder time in the SEC than they did in the Big 12 where most of the teams didn't have a lot of good D. Take Oklahoma State, for example.
Yeah, man. I looked up and I seen that Kansas State game. I was surprised because not only Kansas State lost, they got whipped by BYU. And that was like one of them games where I felt like they would have did anything for their coach because I heard that they almost lost their coach, man. He had cardiac arrest and they thought that was it for him. So, you know, for him to be able to recover the way he did and for them to go out there and play like they played, that was definitely some inspirational football, man. And to beat Kansas State like that, that definitely surprised me.
That's what makes college football, some of those great stories to tell in terms of people overcoming adversity and whatnot. So it was good to see from that standpoint. As far as the game itself,
All right, I want to talk about the game of the week now. This coming up week 5, Georgia, Alabama. They have Alabama as an underdog. You know, that's the first time they was an underdog at home since 2007, and they have it only is really close. They have Georgia with a 2-point favor. What are your thoughts on that game?
Let me give you a couple stats, stat guy. 166. That is the last 166 games Alabama has played at home. They have won 160 and only lost 6. Keep in mind, in the regular season, however, that team that is Georgia has not lost a regular season game in almost 3 years. Think about that for a minute. Now, the games they have lost that were not regular season games, such as SEC championships and college playoffs and whatnot, the majority of those games they've lost in the last 3 years is to one team and one team only. We know who that team is. Mm-hmm. That team, of course, is Alabama. That being said, you know what I say. This is a rivalry game. When it comes to rivalry game, throw all the records out the window. Will home field advantage be home field advantage? I imagine it won't be because Georgia used to playing in hot heat. It's supposed to be about in the 85, 90-degree range for that game. I think we're going to get one of the best games of the season for college football between them two teams. When all is said and done, I think Georgia beats them.
Wouldn't be surprising to me if they did or if they didn't. At the end of the day, I still feel like Alabama, if they did lose this game at home, then it's still a playoff now, man, and they could definitely get them again. I felt like it surprised me last year how at the beginning of the year they played really bad, and then to see them pull the victory out against them, yeah, that caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that. That being said, everybody's crowning Georgia and Texas right now to be in the championship. But I'd be surprised? Absolutely not. But at this point, I'm always stick with Alabama. I'll take the 2 points, and I will go with Alabama at this point.
Yeah, when all said and done, these two teams more than likely will probably make the college playoff, assuming that they don't lose to anybody else after they play each other. So, yeah, these are two teams definitely keep an eye on.
And I definitely wouldn't bet on it as far as in like FanDuel or nothing right now, because it can definitely go either way. I'm not really seeing too many games that I was really like, excited to see. But one game that actually stood out to me was Louisville and Notre Dame in Notre Dame. Right now, they have Notre Dame as a 6.5-point favorite. I'm going to go under, but I would definitely say they can't afford to lose this game. I'm going to go with 3.5, and I'm going to take Notre Dame in that one.
I'm taking Notre Dame and them points. I see them winning by about a touchdown. Louisville, a good team, but Notre Dame is a better team. I know they didn't always show it because of the whole Northern Illinois thing, but remember, they only lost to that team by about a field goal.
I'm going to go with the upset in this ranked game right here, E. They have Illinois versus Penn State. I'm going to take Illinois.
Illinois did look very good against Nebraska that last time I saw them play. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Keep in mind, I don't have a lot of faith in Penn State or that coach over there because when it comes to the big games, they don't show up like they need to. Wouldn't be surprised if Illinois win that one.
Surprised that they have the Minnesota-Michigan game with us only winning by like 9.5. I thought they'd have us a little bit more. But I know Minnesota always keep a good disciplined team. They kind of remind me of Iowa, but yeah, I don't think that game will be that close.
I think it could be that close for one reason only.
Big Ten
Quarterback issue. Quarterback issue. It's still an issue. Remember, yeah, they won that game, but the quarterback had less than 50 yards passing in that game. If that happens again against Minnesota, that game is going to be way closer than it should be. At some point, that man, they say he got an arm. We're going to see it.
Yeah, I feel like most times he think like most quarterbacks right now. If he don't see nothing right away, he just take off and run. But yeah, we have to definitely see more from him in the passing game because because if this continues, I don't see them making no playoff spot if he just can't use his arms except for always trying to run. Because for two reasons, he could get hurt or it could be a disaster. Him trying to pass and trying to be Superman, and that can come to interception. So yeah, definitely.
They were comparing him to Tim Tebow at one point. I need to see it.
At least he has some passing game, Tim Tebow, a little bit. I can't say a lot, though. Let's be honest.
He at least could throw the ball.
I want to get into week 3 football, man, E, but I'm giving you permission if you wanted to pass this game, man, because I really didn't too much care for that Patriots-Jets game. I told you that from the get-go.
Bottom line is we thought Patriots going to be one of the worst teams in football. Yeah. The only good thing from that is that they finally put the rookie in. Let him take his lumps, man. You want to learn the hard way. Baptism by fire.
Because they definitely plan for Gerard Mayo, but I just don't still really see nothing personnel-wise over there for me. Man, I want to talk about the two undefeated teams at the time that was playing each other. The Los Angeles Chargers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. One thing I liked about this game is because this is the part where I like because they would say that Justin Fields to the misfit island of quarterbacks. That's what I'm gonna call it right now. When you write a quarterback off and you send him on his way. But it's funny to me that he managed to pull that game off, and they happen to be 3-0 right now, while Chicago ended up getting better personnel to fit Caleb Williams. Because think about it, man, Justin Fields didn't have that personnel he has over there. He had DJ Moore, but he didn't have Cole Clement, but he didn't have all these weapons that they gave, Caleb Williams, and he still ended up being 7-9 with that team that he had. And now he's over here 3-0 with Pittsburgh, and they're having problems. I think right now he has the worst quarterback rating out of the rookies, and Caleb Williams. What are your thoughts about Justin Fields? I really think most of it have to do with the defense, but he didn't do a lot of running the last game. He had 6 rushing yards, and he did most of it with his arm.
We knew that Justin Fields could throw the football. We seen that from his days, not only at Ohio, that team. You almost made me say the cuss word.
You should have.
But also at Georgia. He was a quarterback then. So, no, I'm not surprised by what we seeing. We knew Chicago was not doing right by that guy, okay? We also know Chicago may not be the best place to develop talent at the moment for young Caleb. We'll get to him. But long story short, it all goes back to who's running things over there. Mike Tomlin. Once upon a time, they asked that brother, do you want to get the job at USC? And he was like, I'm an NFL coach. Why would I want a college job? And people question that. Last year, people was questioning, okay, should they get rid of him? All Mike Tomlin keep doing is what he's been doing, winning. I said it at the beginning when we did our previews for the season. Somehow, some way, that brother gonna find a way to have another winning season. And so far, he has proved me to be very correct. I am not surprised at all by what we see because in the end, that team is a team, and they're winning as a team, particularly with that defense. Remember what I said about the defensive player of the year. J.J. Watt is him.
TJ,
y'all every week.
TJ.
It don't matter. Both of them going to be Hall of Famers one day with the yellow jacket. He looked just as good as his brother did in his prime.
I want to talk about a game where you had a team that was on a high, man, scoring over 40 points a game until this game where they didn't have any rhythm. I know that they lost their center in this game, but it was kind of a really funky game at first, but it just seemed like because they didn't have one of their key weapons at wide receiver, A.J. Brown, then they turned around and they lost Smith too, Devontae Smith, and that's when Saquon Barkley ended up taking over, man. But I felt like the defense definitely played better, and they stepped up to the occasion, and they shut down the New Orleans Saints, man. And that 15-12 victory was kind of funky, but it basically was a pretty interesting game because a lot of people feel like they were surprised that the Saints played as well as they did and feel like that's about to come to a reality in the next few weeks.
Yeah, the reality check came into play, but keep in mind, we know the Eagles going to be a good team. We know that they probably going to be a playoff team. What they are not, however, is the team that's on the same page all the time. When you talk about team chemistry, we just mentioned the Steelers, for instance. They seem to have an excellent team chemistry going right now. So much so that if you're even thinking about putting Russ in, don't do it. But back to the Eagles, they're not teaming right when it comes to certain things. You can tell at times the coach and the players not on the same page. It sounded kind of interesting. Keep in mind that I oftentimes like to look at the locker room speeches at the end of the game. That team won the game. It won a lot of energy in that locker room as the coach was speaking. It didn't seem like it was a lot of eye contact either when he was speaking to that team. Take, on the other hand, a team like my Lions, where when Coach Campbell talks, The room's quiet. Everybody's focused on him. They listening. They attentive. They ready to run through a wall for that dude. Sirianni, I'm not seeing that same type of energy over there with the Eagles.
I still feel like it's beef with him and Jalen Hurts, even though I know that they said that they squashed that and moved on. Hell, I don't even really think it's a lot of chemistry with Kellen Moore and Coach Sirianni due to the fact that that's not his
I agree.
guy. That's not his guy. Hell, Vic Fangio is not his guy, man. They're
Agreed.
to basically scare him, like, if you're going to do your job, shit, we got your replacements in-house. So, yeah, man, that's why I just feel like it's real funky over there, man, because I feel like he's a little paranoid with his job as well. But, yeah, man, like you said, I still feel like they could be a really good team. Do I think they're going to be 14-3 like when we had those predictions? Not really, but I still feel like this team can actually make some noise if they can get their head on straight. But it's been a funky year already too, man. It's been 3 weeks and it's been stuff happening, man, we couldn't imagine. And we'll talk about that when we get to the later games. But one of the games it surprised me too, man. That's why I'm looking at Caleb like, man, I really hope that brother get it together. Was the Broncos and Buccaneers game. Because not only did the Buccaneers lose that game, but the Broncos beat the brakes off them on the road. And from the beginning of the game, when they first had that first scoring drive, I didn't see them looking back, man. They played really good. And Bo Nix basically kind of remind me of a young Drew Brees, how he took command of the team and how he just stepped up and those guys reacted to everything he said. And you could see it in his, personality and the way he carried that team, that how they were and how they executed. And it's funny because at first I was like, man, they did, Russ kind of wrong when he did leave town, but you got a guy who I still feel like Sean Payton look at like, I wanted to get my guy and out, somebody who I feel like can run my offense. And it's only one game right now that he really excelled, but I still feel like right now as he continue to play and step up his level of play, we'll see a lot more from him, and this might have been the right decision.
It's something to be said for the mature rookie quarterback. Keep in mind that we'll have those in the next couple of years because we still got people that's been in college forever, it seemed like, due to the Kobe years and whatnot. But, yeah, this is not your typical rookie.
No.
And, you can see that in his demeanor. We see that from another quarterback that we'll talk about in a little bit. But when all is said and done, we know Sean Payton, he wasn't feeling rushed from day one. Let's be honest.
No.
He prejudged that brother as soon as he walked in the door. So unless they went to the Super Bowl that year, Russ probably was going to be cooked as far as Sean was concerned anyway. But that being said, yeah, he's running his offense now the way he wants to run it. And it's showing that on a good day, Broncos going to be a handful. And that defense didn't look that bad either.
No. They haven't ever really been the issue over there with that defense, man. It's just, the offense wasn't clicking like they should be.
Yeah, as far as the Buccaneers go, they just had a bad week. They still a good team.
It happens. We had a bad week 2. So, it is what it is, man. The Packers and the Titans, man, that was a really funky game from the get-go, man. I wouldn't be so surprised if they just said before the game come up on Sunday that they're going to bench Will Levis, man, because he's played pretty bad as of late, man, and just haven't been making mature choices. You actually started to have some games you played last year, and it seemed like he got worse this year. So, yeah, to see them lose the way they did, 30-14, especially no disrespect to Malik Willis, but you have a running quarterback who doesn't do a lot of passing, but he really just they beat the brakes off those guys. And I believe it. You can't just say all was Malik Willis, but I still feel like Will Levis making the silly decisions that he made. The defense cleaned up on it too because they got a few interceptions on him on that game.
It seemed like the silliest decision the Titans made was letting Malik Willis go in the first place. You put that dude with somebody that believe in him and give him a game plan he can execute, he's a lot different quarterback. You notice that?
He seems more mature too than what people think he was. Like you said, in Liberty, he's been there for a while. But when they drafted all those quarterbacks, it didn't make no sense to me. And then that's when they seen Will Levis play good when the injury to Ryan Tannehill happened, and they was already ready to move on. I just don't know. That's one of the worst organizations to me as well. They wanted to clean up and start with their people, but yeah, man, I just don't really see him being their future moving forward, man. I wouldn't be.
I would safely assume when the trade deadline comes, that's going to be the first door that a lot of people end up knocking on. Like, what y'all trying to give up? Y'all ain't about to go nowhere. Let me get some of that.
Because yeah, you got guys over there like Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, man. So yeah,
let me get some of that.
Some of them guys, man. So yeah, I'm pretty interested to see what's gonna happen with them too around the trade deadline.
Absolutely.
Then I wanted to get into the game since we was bringing up Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears versus the Minneapolis Colts. That game was kind of sluggish and painful to watch as well.
Okay, hold on. Before you go on, let me just get mine out the way on this one. For the fans of both the Colts and the Bears, slow down. Slow down. Y'all both got some good quarterbacks, okay? But they like a bread that ain't quite ready yet, okay? Put a little bit more butter on it, put it back in the oven. Take your time with it, okay? Everybody that expected Caleb Williams to come in and be Patrick Mahomes overnight, you now see it don't work like that. Patrick Mahomes was the exception, not the rule, okay? Remember also, Patrick Mahomes sat for a whole year and got to learn the NFL and the system behind a veteran quarterback. Neither one of these quarterbacks have had that luxury. It's going to take some time for them to learn what they need to know. But as you see, at certain times in the game with both of those quarterbacks, Richardson and Williams, they do have the ability to be very, very good NFL quarterbacks. It's just going to take some time and some patience. Go ahead, you.
And that's the exception. He sat out for a year. He didn't step in like everybody else. I think if Patrick Mahomes probably stepped in like that first year and then had Alex Smith, basically being his backup, that could have messed up his confidence, man. That could have made Patrick Mahomes a totally different quarterback. I definitely agree now to an extent with Tom Brady that some of those guys from college definitely need to, sit out and see the game, learn the game plan. Like you said, learn from a veteran before they come in, because that's how it is, man. You know how quick the decision it is to get rid of a quarterback or move on from one in the NFL, that what have you done for me lately mentality. And that's what you're seeing all these guys like Justin, Fields, and you seeing guys like Sam Darnold, all these people just getting tossed around like that. Malik Willis, for instance, So, yeah, I still feel like a lot of them guys would benefit from having a veteran, because I don't even really think who is the backup behind Caleb Williams. It ain't no veteran quarterback that it was the kid who got drafted in the third round. I forgot his name, but he's not no, veteran. So yeah, that part right there.
And keep in mind, Eberflus is a defensive coach. Oftentimes one of the talking heads, Colin Cowherd, talks about how when you are an offensive player and your head coach is a defensive coach, there are certain things they tend to key in on differently than other things. So that might be part of the issue as well with Chicago. They're just not good at developing offensive talent for the most part. They've lucked up into some people like the back Forte years ago, and of course, the guy that we have now, Montgomery. They had some good offensive players, but in terms of quarterback, it's been a long time since the Bears had a decent quarterback long term.
And they got one right now, so I think that everybody just need to go ahead.
Just chill out.
All right, E, man, this one right here, I really want your opinion on, man. I'm gonna let you take over probably a little bit longer than you should on this one, because I looked at this one and we both looked at it and we said, "Damn, it had us thinking here." Carolina Panthers versus the Raiders game. And you know, I still don't feel like Carolina is a great organization in the way they handle things. But damn, man, this is what we're talking about, Ian. What we were just saying about having a veteran start and have the rookie learn behind the veteran quarterback, because it looked like the Red Rifle went back to his Cincinnati Bengal days when he played this game, man. Really surprised me because I didn't think he was going to come out swinging like that, man. It was like he had a point to prove. You know, I don't think that he was still happy with last year that he had to sit behind Bryce Young. But to see how he played, man, that guy was like phenomenal. 26 for 37, 319 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, man. The game was just about over at the halftime.
Check this out. You see the stats that Hugh just gave you? That's because he is the only quarterback so far in this NFL season to have over 300 yards in a game. Ain't that crazy? Now that we in week 3, and of all people, the person that played for the Panthers, the backup at that. Okay, this game left me with more questions than answers. You want me to expound? I'm going to. Okay, first of all, the team that played last Sunday was not the team I've been seeing. That team, I felt like I was fully in my right to say they was going 0-17. Now I'm sitting here having to apologize to my Panthers fans here in the network. I'm sorry, y'all. I lied on y'all team. I said they was going 0-17. I was wrong. But I didn't see this coming. I didn't see them going to the Red Rifle. I didn't see that team rallying around said quarterback to the point to where now I got to question what's going on over there, period. That was a whole different set of circumstance going on with that team. Granted, don't get me wrong. Raiders ain't no prize, okay? The Raiders might be worse than I thought they were, to be honest. But all that being said, I don't think we really learned what we got with the Panthers just yet. They may not be a 1-16 team. They might actually be a decent team if they continue to play that way. And if they do, at that point, do we have to think, okay, maybe we go in another direction? Understand, it's been reported that several teams last week put out there, oh, y'all sat Bryce Young. You don't want him? You don't want him? I want him. I want him. And I promise you, the Titans was one of them teams. I promise you they was. But anyway, they say, no. He just going to sit down for a while. We keeping him. We have no desire to trade him. But let them smurf around and go 3-1 in that division where we thought Atlanta was going to dominate that division. Not so sure about that now.
I didn't think that.
We thought Tampa Bay was going to be the one right behind. I ain't so sure about that either.
That's the team who I went with.
So, all that being said, good people, keep an eye out on what goes on these next couple weeks in Carolina. As far as the Raiders go, y'all might have some bigger problems. I really hope that they allow the head coach another year or two to get the Raiders together, because they're in a hard division and they're going to take some butt whoopings, especially the way the Chiefs and the Broncos playing. It's going to get ugly. And Chargers, too, for that matter. So, yeah. But, yeah, bottom line, we know they need a quarterback later on down the line. We love Uncle Rico, but he ain't the long-term answer for that squad. And,
no.
If they want to go ahead and start selling people, I know one person I definitely want for my Lions, and you know who that is.
I'm not sure who that is, E.
That's got to be that kid coming out of Eastern Michigan. The one and only Max Crosby. You know who? You know good and damn well who it is.
We wanted him last year. Shit.
I want him now. With him with Hutch. Yeah, buddy.
We just lost the defensive end too for the whole year.
Exactly. And we got all that extra cap money. It all makes sense.
And I was
on, Max.
I was surprised Yannick and Ngakwe didn't get picked up before he did. And I'm like, Ravens, I know damn well y'all don't need no defensive end. I think they did that move to keep him away from us. But that's I'll talk about that and say that for another day.
Yeah.
But the emergence of Deontay Johnson really surprised me to that game, man, because it was like he catch everything. He was decent with the Steelers, but he really looked like a number one when he played with the Panthers. But then that brings me back to, like you said, with the coach, man. You heard that speech he said, man. It's gonna be some people he's selling to, man, once it comes to the trade deadline, because he was like, yeah, we're gonna reevaluate this, man. And he was like, people made business decisions in the game, and I'm gonna make business decisions on my own. And at first, I was like, damn, is he taking shots at Uncle Rico on live TV? But Gardner Minshew, he said, wasn't a problem, and he felt like people gave up on that game and were just ready to get the hell out of there. And so, yeah, I'm pretty interested in what's going to happen right now. So, yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff going on. Even though it was bad when it was Josh McDaniels, it's still bad with the Raiders with a good head coach and Antonio Pearson. I really still don't think your boy Devontae Adams is really still that happy over there, man.
He can't be. He know that he is wasting his prime on a team that ain't going nowhere.
Absolutely. Here go another nasty game right here, E-Man. You can just talk about it real quick. We can move on if you want to with this one too. The Dolphins and the Seahawks.
I feel bad for Tua, man. I don't know. Miami's future is basically based on what happens when that brother, whatever he decides in terms of coming back, not coming back, because that team is predicated around him and his skill set. Without him, it's a different team. And then, of course, you got Skylar Thompson, and he took his lumps in that game. Trust believe they was on that butt.
You know who a quarterback gonna be up and coming this week, right? If you ain't heard already, it ain't gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be Skylar Thompson. I believe it's gonna be they're one of the blasts from the past who you love to hate. I think Tim Boyle is gonna be the quarterback going into this week.
Oh, you hear about that? No.
Yeah, I was hearing that rumor. It might still be Skylar Thompson, but I've been hearing right now that Tim Boyd is getting ready to suit up and play as they started.
Troubled times have come to Miami. Lord have mercy. But yeah, as far as Seattle go, they're a good team yet again this year, but we're gonna find out how good they really are when they bring that ass Monday night to the dick.
Yeah, I'm ready about that one, man. Okay. This was a good game. I think I hit you up on this one. I texted you at the last minute when I was really in shock. The San Francisco 49ers and the Rams, which I call this the injury bowl, because damn near both of their teams is out. But that's why a lot of people are saying Sean McVay is one of the better head coaches in the league, because it was just like, how like we'd be bored and we'll play Madden or something, and we had like the best teams. Like we'd be playing with an all Madden team, and we look up and say, okay, man, I'm gonna take all the bad all the good players out, and we just gonna play with some scrums, and put them in and see who wins and see who's the better player. But in this case, with all the injuries they had, it was just about coaching, man. And the funny part about it is, what I seen, man, and I didn't even want to say it, man. It broke my heart, man. Ronnie Bell dropped the pass when it counted the most. I just can't blame it all on him, but when they needed that brother, man, he dropped that pass, and it was crucial because it went from Moody kicking the field goal, and then, once it came down to it, when Stafford got the ball in their hand, they drove down and won the game, man. So I want to know your thoughts on the injury bowl game, because that was still a good game regardless to the fact.
Okay, let me throw in there right quick. Ronnie Bell, Nico Collins. It's crazy because in college, them dudes weren't really getting the ball like that at Michigan because it was run first there. See how good wide receivers they've become in the NFL? It's crazy how that works sometimes. But anyway, not to mention some of the tight ends that came out of Michigan, by the way. But in terms of that game, I like seeing games like that. Because in the end, we knew everybody and their mom was hurt that game. We really didn't know what we was getting. Then also keep in mind the two head coaches, very good friends, by the way, Mr. Shanahan and Mr. McVay. came from that same tree, you know.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, they kind of know what each other's thinking and whatnot. So it was definitely a game of strategy, a game of whatnot. Love the comeback made by the Rams. Put some respect on Matthew Stafford's name. I think he is showing people, bottom line, I'm a Hall of Famer, okay? Maybe not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I am a Hall of Famer. This is why. Because I didn't have my share of comebacks over the years. This was another one, okay? Shout out to that kicker who basically went through adversity to become the hero in that game. It was a good NFL. Bottom line is, if you said, okay, what 2 games could you send somebody this week to watch and make them love football? That game would be one. A college game, which you have not mentioned, that I will mention later on, is the other. There's a reason why you didn't mention it. We won't go there right now. Continue.
I ain't mentioned it because I forgot.
Sure you did. All right, go ahead, bro.
Chiefs versus the Falcons. This game right here is the reason why a lot of people are starting to get pissed off with the Chiefs. I love it because of the fact, what did I tell you? I told you this 2 years ago. Patrick Mahomes and them keep winning. They're going to turn on this, man. I'm going to be right there to see it and tell people I told you so. This game right here came down to people complaining, saying that it was a call, and was it a no call? Yeah, it was. It should have been called pass interference, but they didn't do anything when they had the ball. Then they still got a chance to get the ball back and try to win the game, and Bijan Robinson got stuffed on a 4th and inches play. So I want to know your thoughts on that game, because they had every chance to win it. Then now seeing their record, it's like, is Atlanta really as good as everybody thought they were going to be? Or is just, they just, came out and they, made people look fascinated in how stacked they were on paper?
Great teams find a way to win. The Chiefs have continued to do that for these last 3 seasons now. We know, based on what we've seen, they probably should not be 3-0, but yet they are. And then remember, they still working out things with the weapons, okay? We got, of course, Hollywood Brown. We don't know when or if he's coming back this season. You got people they just brought in. Man, was I surprised when I looked up and was like, who caught that ball? Juju Schuster, he back? Y'all brought him back? And then, of course, this week, they find out that they brought back another person that was in the squad back in the day. You remember the running back? You know who I'm talking about, Hugh.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt, man.
Former Cleveland Brown, former Kansas City Chief before that incident. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with him. And they probably are thinking, okay, Pacheco, we need to give you time to heal up. So imagine we get all that going, and then at some point, because y'all already been tripping, all the talking heads been talking about, well, Travis Kelce, what's going on? And him and Tay, calm all that down. Okay, first of all, yeah. Have you been watching the games closely? When they put Kelce out there, everybody named Mama is guarding him, okay? He getting double, triple, quadruple team at times. 2, Travis Kelce, last time I checked, was 35 years old. In the NFL, 35 is 45, okay? It's old, especially for tight end. So, yeah, some of his age is shown, okay? And 3, and most importantly, Patrick Mahomes is a hit 'em where they ain't type of quarterback, okay? He is not like some of these other quarterbacks we've seen in the league. Like, okay, that's my guy. I got to force feed it to him. I got to keep going there. We'll talk about the Texans in a minute, for example. I got to feed him. No, Patrick Mahomes is saying, okay, they got him hemmed up. I'm going here. That is why he is the present day GOAT, okay? So, when now that comes together and later on down the season, when they really start to gel, yeah, my prediction looking real good right now with them winning it all. As far as the Falcons, some ain't right. I don't think it's necessarily all on the shoulders of the quarterback. Although, as you know, Atlanta Sports Talk are already down there talking about, yep, it's time to take him out. Put in Penix Jr. You can't do that, y'all. You can't do that to that young man because in the end, if you're going to put him in and then take him back out, that ain't in the best interest of him long term. If you're going to put him in and then basically make the present quarterback Cousins the most expensive backup in the NFL, that's not in the best interest of him either. You got to ride this thing out, okay? It's some growing pains. Not to mention, as we keep bringing up every week, the preseason being the way it is now, we learning it's leading to some trash football at times in these first few weeks. Not that was a trash game, but you definitely can see that the team chemistry still needs some gelling over there in Atlanta.
Yeah, because when I've been looking up and seeing status and stuff, man, and Patrick Mahomes is not really, in sync with a lot of those guys, man. Rashee Rice, he's been playing good with Xavier Worthy. He ain't really clicking with him. Like you said, they're triple teaming Travis Kelce, and you could tell because he's like the 20th in quarterback rating right now, and then his interceptions are up. So, yeah, man, I still feel like it's a little work to do, but once they finally catch on and get everything together, I think they're going to still be one of the teams to be reckoned with. Three-peat, I don't believe so, but then still there's a possibility with that team because if he said he ain't playing the best football that he can play right now, just imagine they're still 3-0, man, because we see some 3-0 teams we still don't trust, and they're 3-0, and I trust them more than any other team that's 3-0 right now. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's so much plays that's still up in that playbook that they ain't went to yet. I have no concern about the Chiefs at this point.
Because you don't still got Hollywood Brown back yet,
And like I said, Pacheco's out now. That trust, when all is said and done, they'll be around there.
And then I want to go to the game that you was just mentioning, man. It's funny too because the conversation that you seen that Stroud had, with CJ Stroud had with Caleb Williams. It seems like that was almost the same conversation that you had with Sam Darnold after that stumping, man. It was crazy because if you would have told me that Minnesota would have did that to, the Houston Texans, I'd have been like, it ain't no way, man. And then I know that they have the skilled players and everything over there, but I feel like people don't give that brother Brian Flores the credit where credit's due because he didn't have as much talent now that he had last year he didn't have that talent. He have the talent now, and he's showing you what he could do with at least a half decent defense, man. They really ran them out of there, man. Minnesota basically bullied those guys that whole game. It was real physical, and not only that, one of those other written off quarterbacks, man, Sam Darnold had a really solid game, and then that's when I started hearing all the noise about if he don't stay with Minnesota, it's a lot of teams that would still like to get him because he's still young. And I was like, well, damn, how old is this dude? I didn't know he was still 27 years old.
I'm going to enjoy watching J.J. McCarthy be Sam Darnold's backup in the years to come because I don't care. If we get this Sam Darnold the rest of the year, even when J.J. is healthy next year, you can't play that dude over Sam Darnold. You got to pay that brother and keep him. You do. Like I said, he is a relatively young man in NFL. I mean, particularly for quarterbacks, because, nowadays quarterbacks play to 40 years old because you can barely touch them and whatnot. But that's half of that story. The other half is Houston played like they should have played last year in that game, okay?
It's like they digress.
Bottom line, they talk about that sophomore slump. CJ Stroud definitely hit that in that game. That is the worst game I've seen him play thus far in his NFL career. They looked confused at times. They had way too many penalties. They was not on the same page. Some of the receivers, and It just looked real clunky, that game. It's like they didn't practice this week. And just went out there and played Minnesota like, oh, they Minnesota. We all right. No, y'all wasn't all right. Y'all got whooped.
That
stadium. You earned that butt whooping. You earned it in spades.
I think that that stadium too, man, with the noise, man, they had a lot of offside penalties with that too, man.
It's something to be said for these indoor stadiums. That's why I'm glad we got one.
Yeah, man, I was just really happy for Sam Darnold, man. Even though, you know, we love CJ Stroud and we want him to bounce back and we want that team to do well. But like you said, it was a guy who was written off, man. And his numbers wasn't like it was all that. He was 17 to 28, 181 yards. But where it mattered the most, that man had 4 touchdowns and no picks that game. And they just looked really solid on both sides of the ball, man. And I was really surprised because at first I didn't really think much of Minnesota. But when now you see, and I didn't know all those names like Van Ginkel and some of the guys was on that defense. And I said, man, you know, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in our division. Do I think they're a pretender? Absolutely not. I definitely want to see what it takes now in that division because they're in the lead of our division right now. So pretty interesting what's going to happen. And I know Jordan Love will be back soon. So yeah, we're going to be in for a run of our money once it comes, you know, the time getting closer to the playoffs.
Remember, Minnesota almost made the playoffs last year. It shouldn't be a complete shock to us, but yet it is.
I want to talk about the Lions game now. The Lions and the Cardinals. This game right here, when I seen it, it just seems like, man, I was getting a little frustrated. But then when I was telling you too, man, when I remember before when people used to hate Roger Goodell and be like, man, they felt like he was forcing them to do their jobs. Now I'm starting to look at him like, man, that dude, man, I wish they never really let these guys rest the preseason like that. Because we remember when you used to have to suit up and have at least, you know, 5, you know, runs with the offense and with the offense and defense, the starters, you know, at least 5, you know, plays. And then after that, you would have to play like the first half, or no, the first quarter at least, then to halftime that third game, and then the fourth game you play the whole game with the starters. And us not getting that now, man, that's what the dumbing down and the bad quality of football coming from, in my opinion.
So based on what you're saying, you felt like that chart for the Cardinals and Lions was a bad football game.
I feel like the Lions was gassed once it came to that second half. And it seemed like they was clicking on all cylinders at first. And then all of a sudden they just got gassed.
I think we seeing what we saw early on last year from the Lions. If you remember, the problem that they were having early on in the season was they were getting off to these good starts in the first half. And then when the third quarter hit, they wasn't scoring. And then either they usually had to come back in the fourth, or basically figure it out to end the game. We starting to see that again this year. It's something they need to work out with the halftime adjustments to where, okay, we need to come out in this third quarter and keep the ball rolling so that games like this shouldn't be as close as they end up being. That being said, I felt like the defense did a good job of containing Kyler Murray for the most part. Kyler had a bad game. He did. He wasn't quite getting what he was getting them first couple of weeks. Definitely Maserati Marvin. That brother, he is as advertised. He is his father's son and then son. Definitely looking forward to seeing him play in the future. But in terms of what we got with the Lions, I'm not as concerned. I really would like to see what happens Monday with a team that's probably the better team that they're going to play this year. But in terms of what I saw last week, it was one of them games where, yeah, they probably could benefit from a little bit more time in the preseason playing together. But ultimately, they finished that game a lot better than the game before that they lost.
Yeah. And that was the thing with me. I looked at it like they won and they figured out a way to win. And I felt like the pedigree, they should have stuck with it just a little bit more with the run, ground and pound. And I feel like they got a little trigger happy that that last game. But still, they cleaned it up and did enough to win.
Yeah, Ben definitely called a better game. Love that hook and ladder play, by the way. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, because remember at first I was like, man, this is going to be a lame man's game going into half. And right before I said halftime, it was like, boom, bam. And then you seen that goofy emoji I had with the shocked face, but it was like it happened that fast. We was talking, and I was just complaining, and it wasn't even 2 seconds later. I looked up, and then I had to actually eat it. What just happened? And he was like, man.
Right, and Madden, y'all constantly doing them updates. I need y'all to add the shake and bake. That is the official name of that play, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Shake and bake. I need y'all to add that to the Madden so people could do that on the Madden. That'd be cool.
Kind of similar to the game when we beat Green Bay that back-to-back. When the Lions really start to get their respect, man. Dude, I want to get into the Monday night game.
Hold on. Before we move on, let me say this. Lions fans, way to represent, okay? Y'all went in Arizona and took that bitch. Oh, all I seen was blue.
Yeah, I barely seen red in that crowd.
It's like Arizona was right down the street. Y'all went to the game.
At the end of the game, man, it was like I'm gonna say it was 50 Lions jerseys to 10 Arizona jerseys every time I looked up. Well, at the end of the game when they were leaving, and that's good, man. We starting to look like the Pittsburgh Steelers and some of those teams
the teams that travel real well, exactly.
And I'm definitely proud of that. I can say that much.
No doubt.
Glad you mentioned that too. Definitely glad you mentioned that. Since we got to talk about all the games, man, I just want to talk about the Jag and Bill game for a second. And I'm going to say, man, there needs to be something done over there with the Jaguars, man. Because when I'm looking at it right now, as people used to compare them to us, they said they were the NFC version of the Lions. And you can't spin on our names like that, man. Because when I seen them perform and what they did, it was just bad, man. It was so bad that I knew it was over before the second quarter. I ended up turning off the game in the second quarter and just was waiting patiently for the last game, which we're going to talk about. And I have more excitement about that game. But, I don't know what's going to happen with Doug Peterson. And right now, man, you get a lot of people looking at Trevor Lawrence. And my man, Pat McAfee said the B word with his name. And he was like, man, everybody was talking about how this guy was going to be one of the best quarterback prospects ever, man. And now he started to get in that category with the B word, man. And he was like, if you don't believe what I'm saying, man, then I'm going to just go ahead and say it. He's starting to look like he's a bust right now. And that's what shocked me when I heard McAfee say that.
Trevor Lawrence, the golden child, a bust, #1 overall pick. Remember, freshman year, Clemson, national champion. You wish you could have drafted him right now, right out of Clemson, right then and there. Ever since then, he ain't been looking the same. I don't know what it is. I mean, you see, he still got the arm. You see, he makes some good decisions, but at times he just plays very ordinary, very Clark Kent-like. Is it the atmosphere? Do we need a new team? I don't know, man. All I know is he ain't the brother that they thought he was at this point. I wouldn't go as far as calling him a bust, but yeah, he ain't quite what we thought he was going to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put a good veteran or even draft another quarterback behind him right now. The way he's been
Jacksonville, I probably would.
Because when I see him, man, his footwork looks clunky. Sometimes one time when he threw the ball, his body was looking like Michael Jackson on Smooth Criminal. You know how he do that lean? And I was like, how the hell you going to throw the ball with a lean like that, man? You ain't
not the Michael Jackson lean.
You can't even get out of your, your steps and your progressions, man. You just was leaning through the ball, and I was like, man, then that was a pick. I said, man, this guy looked real weird right now, man. Like he was rushing and trying to do too much. And we talked about that, man. You can't play hero ball, man. You got to take what the defense gives you, man. And that's why I feel like Kansas City, a lot of people don't really respect that, man. They ain't throwing the ball all over the place like we thought they was at first, but I believe they're going to definitely get to that once everybody get healthy. But man, I feel like just if he dink and dunk, man, you got the personnel over there, man. You got Brian Thomas, ETN, and you got that's funny too that Gabe Davis came back to play in that game too against the Bills, and they dog walked them, man. It was a funky score, 47-10, man, and that's when everybody was saying what's going on with Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson's definitely in the hot seat. That's what they were saying. It's week 3 and about to go into week 4, and he's in the hot seat.
Yeah, not so much about what's going on in Jacksonville. What's going on with Buffalo? Yeah, remember when Stephon Diggs left him over there? Y'all was like, yeah, that dude Allen probably done. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. That dude Allen trying to show y'all something. He on a mission from God, okay? Look out for Buffalo. They come.
They got him as an MVP right now in the year, man, is because he has a clean stat sheet right now, man.
If I was gonna pick an MVP right now today, especially at least offensive MVP, I definitely would go with it. I ain't mad at it.
Surprising me enough too is, man, when they got rid of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and some of those guys.
Yeah, we know how you talked about when they was letting all the defensive players go. Well, apparently none of that mattered.
Because now you got Darren Harmon, who's been playing really good. And you just got a really good squad over there on defense. And it's now when you look at it, you like, man, those guys don't bite it. They don't get fooled by a lot. I've seen dudes do like triple, double moves and try to fake out.
Right. And man, you had to love when you seen that dude Hamlin get the interception. Consider everything he went through to get to this point in his career now, and still a relatively young man at that. You got to love it.
And what scared me too about DeMar Hamlin, like you said, man, I was very happy when he got that play. And that defense is really good, man. And, I just really appreciate Buffalo for saying that we knew that our payroll was too high, man. And they got rid of some of those guys, man, and let the younger guys play and gave him an opportunity to start. And he's flourishing right now, him and some of the other guys. We already knew how good Rasul Douglas was as a cornerback, but now we're starting to see some of the young up-and-coming guys over there in Buffalo. People better pay attention to that defense, man. You already have to respect the offense, man, because you have my man's over there, Josh Allen. But damn, man, you seen Keon Coleman get off, man. You seen I forgot the one kid's name, man. One of the other receivers. It kind of remind you of Rashid Shaheed. That's a funky name like that. But
yeah,
there's a lot of guys over there been balling in. Plus, you got Kincaid and Dalton. You over there, man. So I feel like he have enough in front of him. A lot of people thought he took a jab at Stephon Diggs when he was like, man, we got the personnel over here, man, and we just don't need.
They don't care about our stats. You think that wasn't a dig at Diggs? You wrong. You wrong as hell. He might as well just look in the camera when he said it. Like
he said it wasn't, but then I knew.
It is. I knew. And understand those two teams play each other again real soon. It's gonna be real interesting to see what happens that game.
Let's talk about the Monday night game now.
Okay, well, before we go there, Hugh, we got to take a commercial break. We're about an hour in. When we come back, we're going to finish up our discussion on the NFL Week 3. Also get into our predictions and jump into a couple other little things in between. Till then, let's play this commercial break. We are coming back with the Sportsguru Sports Perspective. That's you. I'm E-Buck. This is Nighthawk Network. You know our motto, people. Say it with me now. Our voices for our people.
Radio on Blog Talk Radio or where most great music podcasts are located. Don't forget to subscribe and show some love.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my T-Sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing darlings with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Hold up. Hold up, hold up.
Go. Hey, what's going on, y'all? We are back. This is Sportsguru, Sports Perspective. Hugh Lee and E-Buck in the building. We still talking NFL. Keep it going, Hugh. What you got?
Man, I want to talk about the Monday night game, man. The real Monday night game, not that bull they threw up there on us, man. It was a doubleheader, so I was happy about that, but it was only really one big game I had my eye on. Really a shocker game for me right now, man, because if you'd have told me right now the Cincinnati Bengals would be 0-3, but they still have a few problems. They have two, and these slow starts is going to cost them. And I believe now it's starting to get to the point where, I'm going to say for my Ohio people out there, I'm starting to think they starting to overhype Joe Cool, man, because when you look at it, it's like, they went to the, I'm saying this. They hype him up after he went to that one Super Bowl. Then after that, he was injured and just had two lackluster years. Well, last year and now for the most part this year. You got to prove me wrong this year. I would like to see them not only make it to the playoffs, but, go deep into the playoffs before he could get my respect again, man. I can't just blame it on him. It ain't on him, man. But they got to get together in Cincinnati, man. But
man, come on now.
On that note,
that team scored 33 points. That would have beat mostly any other team most weeks. The problem in Cincinnati is not the offense. It's that trash defense.
Let's be honest, that was garbage points.
You think so?
Yeah, they was down by 2 touchdowns, and that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I definitely felt like that was garbage points.
But no, this ain't the story of that game anyway. The story of the game, put some respect on the Commanders, dog. Talk about that.
I'm not putting no respect on the Commanders. No, man, we have to, because of the fact is, remember this year we said we didn't think they was going to be that bad of a team. They actually set up too, just like how they set up Caleb Williams, man. They had a good sprinkle of veterans like Zach Ertz. You have my man's Eckler over there too, Austin Eckler. Yeah. Pieces over there. Then Terry
McLaurin is definitely one of the most underrated wide receivers in the game.
Oh man, he had a monster game, man. And Terry McLaurin had 100 yards on 4 receptions in the score, man. But Jay Daniels, man, damn, that dude, man, it's funny to me because now that it was like they took shots at the number 1 picks, when they said CJ Stroud should have been number 1 over Bryce Young, and I'm starting to believe that myself. But then they were saying with Caleb Williams and Jay Daniels, I looked at that like it's still the story to tell on their end, but damn, the way he came out though, he was 21-23, 254 yards and 2 scores, man, that he threw through the air and 1 on the ground. That guy, man, he looked like he wasn't fade at all on the Big Show, man. It was money in the bright lights, man. He embraced it, and he played that way. He played like a veteran.
Remember what I said earlier in the show? We was going to talk about another quarterback, and it's something to be said about the mature college quarterback. Jaden Daniels is another one. Played a couple years here, a couple years there. Got some extra time to develop and whatnot. Played over 50 games of college football as a starter. All that showed in that game, the poise, okay, I know what this defense is. Okay, sometimes I'm gonna run, sometimes I'm not. The decision-making process. It all looked good. It's a reminding people over there in DC about another quarterback that they had back in the day. Not in the back in the day, but back a few years ago. Y'all remember RG3? You remember that dude? I just hope that it don't end up the way it did for RG3 though, because one of the complaints, one of the reasons why they felt like, yeah, you better off taking Williams over Daniels because his slight frame and concerns about him getting injured. He had been injured before in the past, as you know. But that being said, I always go back with Jaden Daniels about that fateful day. Remember when he ended up leaving Arizona State and they did his locker the way they did? Remember that? Yeah. I wonder to this day if that is a motivation for him still to be who he's been thus far.
Yeah, they did him dirty, man. And I'm just
no doubt
he stepped up and playing the way he playing. And that's what's so funny, because I was thinking that. I said, damn, he reminded me so much of RG3 and how good he is as a runner and a passer. But the weight made me concerned, man. I feel like Mike Shanahan was the reason why that guy ain't playing to this day. And, at some point, he should have just sat him out the game. You put him back in, and that basically ruined that man's career, even though he was an exceptional backup. But, he wasn't. He was a shell of who he was when he first came out to the pros, man. And Jaden Daniels just showed just greatness, man. He basically did something that a lot of quarterbacks haven't done in the pros, man. He was like 21 for 23, and he missed 2 passes. He passed for more touchdowns than he missed. And one thing people don't realize is one of them passes was like, it was a play where it was a miscommunication on, and the guy dropped the ball, but then the other one was just basically he overthrown it. But other than that, he had a clean game, man. That dude had the highest completion percentage in the game by any rookie ever with 91.3%. And then, the 21 to 23, man, was crazy with the, 2 through the air and then 1 on the ground. Yeah, man, that guy, man, he was really impressive.
Not only was he impressive, but I was impressed by the Commanders in general.
Yeah.
Like I said, that was one of them teams I wasn't quite sure about. I'm still not quite sure about them, but they definitely might be a little better than advertised when all is said and done. Are they winning that division? No, I ain't going that far. But yeah, they may definitely have something to say about it.
And you know what's crazy about them too, man? This was back-to-back weeks that the Washington Commanders did not punt. Never heard of that, man. They were saying Monday night was the first game in NFL history in the Super Bowl era since 1940 with 0 punts and 0 turnovers by both teams. That was like a clean game. That's why.
So what that basically means is that the 2 people that punted for that team, they got free money that week.
Free money. And then, like you said, that Cincinnati Bengals defense is really bad, man. That's why I was looking at Hendrickson, man. And, I've been licking my chops about trying to get some defensive dudes to come on our team. And I'm like, man, if we couldn't get Max Crosby, who I feel like is our crown jewel right now, I'd be cool with Hendrickson. How you feel about that?
Bottom line, if we saying we all in, understand that our all in is different than the Cowboys all in.
Nah, man.
We all in. Draft picks be damn, money be damn, player be damn. Go all in. You see what we need. You see who the better ones is out here. You see where they at in the scenario. Go get them. Go get them. Spend that money. Spend that money. We want to go to the big game.
And speaking of those Cowboys, man, we can't do the show without talking about them because people would have went crazy on us. We would have had all types of hate mail, man.
You already know they don't play about them cowgirls.
what's funny about that is who came back to hunt them dudes in this game?
Mm-hmm.
And they should have went after Ian. You said this before I even thought about it. You said, Hugh, if the Cowboys really gonna be all in, like Jay Jones say, they better get my man's Derrick Henry. And if they don't, then I don't believe them. I said about Dalvin Cook or anybody. You said, Hugh, if they don't get King Henry, then they're not all in. And the first thing that happened was they let him slip and go to the Ravens, and he punished them guys for that game too, man.
I promise you, that dude been looking forward to that game all season because he was going to show them. Sometimes you got to pop out and show niggas. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That statement from Kendrick Lamar? Yeah, that's how he felt. And he played like he felt that way.
It wasn't even about Lamar Jackson this game, man. The player of the game was King Henry.
No doubt.
25 carries, 151 yards, and 2 scores. And he stiff armed the whole stadium. He stiff armed the dude in the concession stands. He was stiff arming the children. He stiff armed anybody he can get his hands on, man.
And at one point they showed him on camera, and I swear he was looking straight at Jerry Jones like.
And then, you know, did you hear that they had like an interview too, I believe before the season, and he was like, man, you said you was all in. Stephen A, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was like, well, why come you guys didn't go after Derrick Henry? And he said we couldn't afford Derrick Henry. Y'all could have did something. You know how they do, man. There's loopholes to where you can get somebody to, you know.
The Dallas Cowboys is the richest sports franchise in the world.
And you a billionaire.
Not just in football, the world. Stop playing with us.
Yeah, when he said that, I said, that was bullshit, man. You basically got who you feel like, and you didn't feel like you had to spend that money. And then people started to look at the Cowboys too, and they was like, man, those dudes are for real when they beat Cleveland. And now we see Cleveland's not that good of a team. Mm-hmm. Cleveland's trash over there, man.
Mm-hmm.
The New York Giants, man, that's the problem. And then they had Daniel Jones looking like a superstar. Not only did that man look like a superstar, but Malik Neighbors went off on them, man. And that's what I'm saying, man. It was just a funky week, man.
It's the reason why we didn't really talk about that game. It wasn't worth talking about. Ain't neither one of them teams about to do nothing.
Yeah, man, I was just really surprised, man, because, yeah, I don't feel like the Giants going to do anything, man. But if I was a betting man, I definitely would have had the Cleveland Browns in a redemption game after getting mollywopped like they did. You know, yeah, they won the game after that, but they still had to basically justify why they got beat like that, because everybody had them at one point and saying, man, the Cowboys lost a few pieces. We don't really think they are here like they say they are, man. And they got a good defense, and the offense got a lot of stars over there, so people pick Cleveland. Deshaun Watson just haven't been showing up, man. And, you know, he's one of the biggest thieves in the league right now for all the money he stole.
He ain't quite Ben Simmons. You know how to think about my bad pride when I said that. But no, definitely Deshaun getting over. Not that it's all his money, man. You could seem like he's gonna be paying out quite a bit of that with all these damn lawsuits.
Pretty much. Whoever his agent is, man, that dude's the real MVP because he got a lot of his money, and at the same time, he still got money to spare because we know he's gonna be going through those.
Right. I mean, bottom line is his agent definitely got his 10%, so he good.
Yeah, hey, he ready to move on.
Right on.
I want to get into like the college games now. I want to talk about the scores, the predictions on the college.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard the man's tap for college predictions. We always like when y'all jump up in here and give us y'all predictions as well. Shout out to Ro, who I'm sure will be watching at this point. And you, Coach, if you're in the building, by all means, give us your predictions. We'll throw them on the screen for you.
I'm going to start off with something that'll shock you this time.
All right.
I'm going to start off with ranked teams. We're going to talk about this team. First, I'm going to give you a prediction, and we got to mention what happened last week, Saturday. Colorado and UCF, man. First and
There we
foremost,
go, man.
Colorado was 3-1 against a pretty stout UCF team. At first, I was thinking UCF ain't gonna be all that tough, but everybody they played them pretty tough, man. They not no pushover. That's one thing I learned.
See, you got to remember, and let's go back to last week when Colorado, and I'm telling y'all people, if you want to know what a good college football game is like at the finish, go back and watch that game, Colorado versus Baylor. That was one hell of a finish by Colorado. Are they on that next level? I'm not saying all that, man. I'm just saying despite everything that was crazy that game, they finished good. Going back to UCF, remember, Central Florida, UCF, okay? Most of the people that play for that school come out of what state, Hugh?
Florida.
And as you know, when you go to recruit for players, and it's not out of your own home state, what's usually one of the two states you always go to when you're looking for quality football players.
Good old Florida.
Florida and Texas. Why is that, Hugh? You know why that is. Because those are the two states where football is being played all year long. And when they're not playing football, they're usually doing basketball, track. Most of those people that come out of those two states are usually multi-faceted, multi-sports athletes. So it's rare when you see a Florida squad that's not a good team, like a Florida A&M team. Usually more times than not, if you are a Florida school and you recruited out of Florida primarily, you're going to have a pretty decent squad.
Yeah, man. That game, going back to, the Baylor and Colorado was crazy. Because at first I was like, man, they getting dog walk right now, and to come back and winning that, it in the way they won was crazy, because I was like, man, they let them hang around. It's getting too close.
And see, and let me say this, because there are people, and you ain't liking us talking about Colorado primarily because you don't want us to talk about the Sanders, okay? You don't like them. You feel like they're arrogant, they cocky, and some of y'all don't like y'all sports figures that way. You want them to be humble. You want them to be cool and chill, whether they win or lose. That's not who Deion is. That's not who his children are. They braggadocious. They in your face with it. They showing you, yeah, you know what time it is to watch and all that. But that being said, is it really being braggadocious? If you could back it up, say what you will about Shedeur Sanders. When push comes to shove, despite his offensive line sometimes, yeah, he backs it up. He definitely backed it up at the end of that game.
Because the quarterback and some of the guys on the other team, man, which is Baylor, they had a lot of stuff to say, before the game. And then after the game, Shedeur Sanders kept the receipts. And I don't think that they didn't really too much care for him and not shaking his hand or anything. But
now that was the week before, Hugh. Don't get it mixed up with Colorado State.
Right.
Baylor, they also had some disrespectful things to say as well, but there was a lot more respectful at the end of the game. They definitely gave him his respect.
It's more disrespect. Yeah, my apology. It's more disrespect than it's his respect. Yeah, you give him respect because he had to show you more than he can actually, tell you in that sense. But right now with Colorado, man, when we get into the scores now on the predictions in week 5, they have them losing, and they're like 14 and a half underdog.
That game is in Central Florida, right?
Yeah.
Enough said.
I definitely feel like it's going to possibly be a little closer than that. I'll say by 7.5.
I'm going with that because in the end, if they don't fix those problems with the offensive line, it's still going to be another long day for Shedeur.
Because I was surprised Baylor let them come back the way they did, man. Because at first I thought that game was absolutely over. Then when I got like one of the messages on my phone from ESPN, and they were like, they're down and they're close to scoring, and they was in the red zone. So I was like, man, let me see what's going on. And then when I seen it, it was crazy to see how they caught all the way back up, man. And that made me question better somewhat. But in the end, that was just a really good game from a team who I feel like they handle adversity well, and I feel like they embrace it more than anybody.
Remember, when it comes to one possession games, most of Colorado's games are usually that one way or the other, win or lose. So they used to playing in Titans.
I want to get into like the ranked games now going into this week 5. And yeah, just got the message on my phone. The Tigers about to start. Yeah, so try to go through this as good as possible. Virginia Tech versus number 7 Miami. I definitely have this. I'm gonna take the points by the 20, and I'm gonna go with Miami because they look Cam Ward, and everything is average. Ties.
I'm going with Miami all day. Miami, not only is Cam Ward advertised, that brother looking like he about to have a nice little trophy at the end of the year.
He definitely looking like my front runner to the MVP.
I would agree. He's definitely looking like that Heisman Trophy winner at this point.
They have Minnesota at Michigan, and Michigan favored by 9.5.
I'm gonna take the 9.5 begrudgingly. I really hope that if at some point in that game the offense still is kind of stagnant, that they actually give the freshman an opportunity to see what he could do. I need you at some point to play that man because we need to keep him. Orgy, no matter what, is probably not going to be here next year. Okay, I think he's a junior, but he still don't matter. If the future is the freshman, it's time to see what he got. And you just assume play him now than later, so that if in the end we need to go to him later on in the season when the big games come along, he has that experience.
I'm gonna go with Michigan, and I'm gonna go 6.5 on that one.
All right.
Like 9.5, a little too much. Okay, we had a game of the week, like I was saying. I already know who you picked. You picked Georgia, number 2,
Georgia.
And they had them as a 2-point favorite.
Don't matter. I'm going with Georgia.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bama. You know, I ain't gonna never go against them.
All right. Well, y'all know what that's about. Keep it going.
Kentucky versus Ole Miss. They got them by they got Ole Miss winning by 17.5.
I don't think Ole Miss wins by that much, but I'm definitely going with Ole Miss.
I'm gonna go with Ole Miss, and I'm gonna take them points. Okay. Oklahoma State, number 20 ranked versus 23 Kansas State, and they got Kansas State winning at home by 4.5.
That's probably going to be one of them track meet games, y'all. Like I said, Big 12, they're not good at playing defense. Wouldn't be surprised we see like 42-39, something crazy like that. I'm actually going to go with Kansas State over Oklahoma State. I'm just not impressed with them defensively at all.
No. I'm going to go with them, but I'm going to go under on the points with 3.5. BYU, number 22, ranked BYU after whipping on Kansas State like that. Playing Baylor, and they got Baylor winning at home by 3.5.
That was Baylor BYU?
Yeah.
I'm going Baylor.
I'm going to go with BYU on this one, and I'm going to say that they'll beat them by the 3.5. Wisconsin and USC, and they got USC by 15.5.
That's a rough one. I'm not messing with them points. I think I'm actually going to take Wisconsin.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin, and I'm not going to go with the points as far as the 15.5. I will go Wisconsin by 6.
Yeah, I won't be surprised. That'd be a lower scoring affair than they think.
Because what people don't understand, what me and you understand, is the Big Ten team. Wisconsin has one of the most disciplined teams. They're gonna run USC in the ground. Only at
they basically gonna get a lot of what they got last week from Michigan. A lot of running the football and some good defense.
And their defense gonna punch them in the mouth. Louisville versus Notre Dame. They got Notre Dame by 6.5. I'm gonna go Notre Dame because they can't lose another game, but I'm gonna go with 3.5.
I'm gonna take the points and Notre Dame.
21 Oklahoma versus Auburn. I'm going to go, even though they have Oklahoma. Two and a half. I'm gonna go with Auburn.
That was Auburn and who?
Oklahoma.
I'm going Oklahoma. Just a feel.
Arkansas versus Texas A&M. They have Texas A&M by 4 points.
I'm going Arkansas. Y'all sleeping on Arkansas. That's a good squad over there. They done showed you already.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with A&M, but I'm not gonna take them points. I go a little under that. Okay, we don't even got to talk about this one. Mississippi State versus Texas. Texas by 39. I'm gonna go with Texas, but I'm gonna go with them points. I bet they've been whooping teams.
I think Arch Manning is still gonna be starting for Texas. It don't matter. I will safely assume we're gonna see whoever Arch Manning's backup is this week too. So yeah, Texas all day.
This one right here is a pleasure to say because it's this both states that you love to hate. Ohio State, Michigan State. They have Ohio State by 24. And I'm going to take the points, too. I'm going to go over and pick Ohio State.
I hate you for this. I really hate you for this. You know, I could deal with Sparty, little bro, but you forced me to have to pick that damn team from Ohio. Some of them a bitch.
Hate the people who made the decision.
You suck for that. But yeah, they will tear that ass up the front.
Stanford versus number 17, Clemson. They have Clemson by 21.5.
I need Clemson to get an impressive victory, okay? Stanford, yeah, I'm looking forward to see what happens with the basketball program with them going to the ACC. But football, yeah, Clemson.
I'm going to take them points, too, with Clemson. Iowa State versus Houston, and they got Iowa State by 14. I'm surprised, man. I'm going to go a little bit over, and I'm going to take Iowa State.
I got them Cyclones.
Number 19, Illinois versus number 9, Penn State. Battle of some undefeateds, and they got Penn State by 19.
I just want this to be a good game. I really do. And they actually got Penn State by 19.
Mm-hmm.
Take Illinois in the points, y'all. Ain't no way they win it by 19.
Because I have it, if they do win, it's going to be a narrow victory by like 6, maybe 6.5. Ain't no way I'm going to go 19.
Oh, with the points, Pete.
Because Illinois got a good ass squad, man. So, come on now. Here go another bad one. East South Alabama versus LSU. They got LSU by 22.
I'm not even gonna waste my breath with that one. Keep going.
Washington State versus Boise State. I'm gonna go with the points on this one, and I'm gonna take on Boise State.
Pac-12 in the building. Washington State. Yeah. See what I said about SEC playing them whack ass teams? That's one of them examples.
Arizona versus Utah. They got Utah by 11. I'm gonna go with those points.
I know Utah one of your squads. I really need to know what's gonna happen with that dude Cam Rising, dog. They only really as good as who he is. I mean, granted, the backup, I forget he actually somebody's little brother, as I recall, but yeah, I'm going with Utah, but sooner or later it's gonna catch up with.
Yeah. I'm afraid of that. He's Zach Wilson's little bro.
There it is.
Okay, and then we have man, these games be on late as hell. I keep forgetting the West Coast games don't go up till 1. Oregon versus UCLA. And they have Oregon by 25.5. I'm going to take them points because UCLA did nothing to press me this year.
I'm going Oregon. They look good last week.
All right, man. And we moving on to week 4.
All right, y'all. We now on the NFL predictions. What y'all got?
Why they always doing this to us, man? You know me, I'm a football fan. I'm still like stomach probably a little bit of it before I just can't anymore. Like last week's game, Cowboys versus the G-Men. They have the Cowboys by 6.
Ain't that the Thursday night game?
Yep.
You watch it. I don't even know why you going through all that.
I don't watch the whole games, man.
You still gonna watch. See, the difference is I'm not gonna watch not a bit of that game. Not one solitary minute. I will check in later on when they show the highlights.
Yeah, I watch a quarter at least.
I'm not even watching a quarter. I'm not gonna waste my time to find out that the Cowboys gonna win that game because they have to.
Denver Broncos versus the New York Jets, and they had the Jets by 7.5. At home.
Denver versus the Jets. You know that's going to be an interesting game because of all the punk talking that went on last year with the old coach and the new coach and all that. You recall those?
Definitely. And my man Nathaniel Hackett.
Yeah, because of that, and it's in New York, I'm going with the Jets, and it's somewhat of a revenge game.
The Vikings versus the Packers, and they have Green Bay at home by 2.5. I'm going to take the Vikings on the road.
I'm going with the Packers primarily because I do believe Jordan Love will be back for that game. If that is the case, then I definitely got the Packers.
You told me something I didn't know, man. I ain't trying to interrupt the show.
He almost played that last game.
Now I'm looking, man. I'm like, you already know I'm about to do check my whole little my little lineup. Now, yeah,
Last I heard, he was game time decision.
Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on that, but man, they definitely optimistic that he's going to be there at that game. Oh man, this is gonna be one of this is gonna be one of interest right here. The New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons at home, and they had the Falcons by 2.5. I'm gonna take New Orleans on the road.
It would appear that these might be the two teams that's going to be the contenders for the division when all said and done. I hope not. But if the Falcons are going to be anything this year, they got to win this game. I got to go with the Falcons. I say it's a close game either way.
Good 1:00 game too, man. The Eagles versus the Buccaneers, and they have the Eagles on the road winning by 2.
I too am going with the Eagles.
Yes, sir. I take them 2 points.
Despite the injuries, I think they still pull it out.
Yeah, because 2 points, it's basically like you just taking the points on that one. You can't go wrong with that one. Either way, Cincinnati Bengals versus the Carolina Panthers on the road. They have the Bengals by 3.5. I'm gonna definitely take them. Ain't no way they can't lose this game.
I want to go there, but I can't. I got to stick to my guns. I said the Panthers was trash. I still think they trash. I got to go with the Natty, dog. I can't see the Natty going on 4. I just can't see.
This is a game I don't wish on nobody. Because this team is about to really get dogs walked. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans at home, and they have the Houston Texans by 6.5.
I'll go with the Texans, but that game probably gonna be closer than you think.
I don't know, The Steelers versus the Colts, surprisingly enough, yeah, they're on a roll, but they got the Colts by -1.5. I'm gonna go with the Steelers on this one.
Man, y'all gonna learn about them damn Steelers, man. That being said, this gonna be a good game. I think you're gonna be surprised. If either one of these teams score more than 21 points, I'll be shocked. I think it's gonna be a low scoring affair, but Steelers 4-0, dog. I'm going with it.
All right, now we have the Rams versus the Chicago Bears. They have Chicago by 3 at home, but I'm going
Rams.
to take, yeah, I was definitely going to take the Rams.
I understand they got a whole bunch of injuries in LA, but Stafford, he got that.
Commanders versus the Cardinals, and then they have the Cardinals at home by 3.
This should actually be a pretty decent game, I think. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised when we talk about this next week. Based on what I saw, you know what? No. I'm still going with the Cardinals on this.
I'll take the Commanders on the road.
Simply because it's been that type of season, and the NFL.
It has been. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up blowing them out. That's how weird the year.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots versus the 49ers. I'm going to go with the 49ers. The thing is, but even with all the injuries, they got them by 10, San Francisco at home.
Man, can we move on?
Browns versus the Raiders. I'm going to go with Las Vegas at home, and I'll take the 2 points.
I'm going with the Browns.
Chiefs versus the Chargers. They have the Chiefs on the road by 7.5, and with all the injuries, I'll still go with the Chiefs, but I'll go a little lower than that. I'm gonna go 6.5.
I say I'm going with the points because, yeah, they, even though they haven't been doing it, it's gonna happen this week. They're gonna force feed Travis Kelce. They're gonna get it in.
I see it when I believe it, man. I don't believe it right now, man. And he getting me very close to putting Isaiah Likely in my fantasy. Bills versus the Ravens.
Okay.
They got the Ravens by 2.5.
Understand. It's very curious you mentioned that dude Isaiah Likely. Do you know? Isaiah Likely, tight end for the Baltimore Ravens, for those of you who like stats, is the one and only tight end who has scored a touchdown all season. Did you know that?
I haven't seen the tight end in the end zone yet.
Only tight end all season to score a touchdown and only one match. That being said, the Ravens, they still going. Do some things, but it's gonna be another week like that for them. I want the Bills.
See how the Seahawks versus the Detroit Lions. They have the Detroit.
Yeah, boy, we whooping that ass. We whooping that ass. It's on. Revenge.
I'm gonna go under, and I'm gonna go 2.5, but then I'm gonna take the Lions on this one. They better not make me regret this, but I'm gonna go 2.5, and I won't take the points on this one.
Man, I'm taking the points. We went about touchdown. We owe them an ass whipping, and we gonna get him an ass whipping down this overtime in the. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Because of the technical difficulties we have, and I see it's been glitching the last 20 minutes. We tried to ride it out. Sometimes it's like that with the system. We apologize, but those are the picks, and that is the Sports Guru Sports Perspective. I'm your boy E-Buck. Please tune in next week for more discussions, picks, and whatnot. Go Tigers. Go WNBA. About to check out the rest of that game. Hopefully you will as well. We will catch you guys next time. Until then, we is out. Peace.